Assalamu alaikum. This is Wali from Rehan School Teachers Training Institute, Batch 24, Level 1. And today my topic is how to stay motivated during tough times. And Maya is with us. So, hello, Maya.
Hey, I'm so glad to be back. Motivation during the tough stuff is a heavy one, but I think it's a really important place to start. I'm ready when you are.
What does motivation mean, especially during difficult times?
Basically, motivation is just that inner engine that keeps you moving when you'd honestly rather just stay in bed. But when things get difficult, it shifts from just feeling excited to more of a discipline. It's less about that sudden spark and more about the steady grit that helps you take the next small step even when the destination feels a million miles away.
Why is it harder to stay motivated when life becomes challenging?
Because tough times don't just drain your energy, they steal your perspective. It's a bit of a psychological trap. When you're struggling, your brain shifts into survival mode. Instead of thinking about growth, you're just trying to survive the day. Plus, there's that brutal feeling that no matter how hard you push, nothing is changing, which makes the effort feel pointless. It's like trying to run a marathon while you're carrying a heavy backpack that you can't put down. Mhm.
How can we keep going when we feel demotivated?
I think the biggest mistake we make is waiting for the feeling of motivation to return. The trick is to stop relying on the mood and start relying on the system. When the engine is dead, you don't wait for it to magically start. You push the car a few inches at a time. I usually suggest the 5-minute rule. Just commit to doing something for 5 minutes. If it's still miserable, you can stop. But usually the hardest part is just the first 5 minutes. It's about momentum over motivation. One thing that helps is zooming out. When you're in the middle of a struggle, it's easy to get tunnel vision where the problem is the only thing you can see. But if you can shift your focus from how do I get through this hour to why does this even matter to me in the long run, the struggle gets a bit more bearable. I've noticed that connecting a daily grind to a bigger purpose, even a small one, acts like a North Star. It doesn't make the road any shorter, but it makes the walking feel worth it. There's a bit of a paradox there
Why
because
is it
sometimes the
important to
hardest
focus on progress rather than perfection?
because perfection is a destination that doesn't actually exist. When you aim for perfection, you're basically setting a trap for yourself. One tiny mistake and the whole thing feels like a failure, which is the fastest way to kill your momentum. Progress, on the other hand, is honest. It allows for the mess, the mistakes, and the slow days. It turns the goal from doing it perfectly to just doing it better than yesterday, which is a lot more human and a lot more sustainable.
How can a positive mindset help during tough situations?
It's like a shock absorber for life. It doesn't magically make the problem disappear, but it changes your relationship with it. Instead of seeing a roadblock as a dead end, a positive mindset lets you see it as a puzzle to be solved. It keeps you from spiraling into, why is this happening to me? And shifts the conversation toward, what can I do with this?
What can we do when our motivation disappears?
Honestly, sometimes the best thing you can do is actually let it disappear. You spend so much time fighting the feeling of being drained. But usually, when motivation completely vanishes, it's not a failure of will. It's a signal from your brain that you're running on empty. Trying to force your way through that is like trying to start a car with no fuel. You're just grinding the gears. I think there's a real power in just admitting, I have nothing left today. Giving yourself permission to actually stop for a second can sometimes do more for your long term momentum than any productivity hack ever could. It's the difference between quitting and just refueling. Hmm. Oh, wait, we just hit on that one, but it's a point worth doubling down on. A positive mindset isn't about ignoring the bad stuff, it's more about refusing to let the bad stuff have the final word. It turns the why as
How does self-discipline differ from how does self-discipline differ from motivation?
the biggest difference is that motivation is like the spark, but self discipline is the slow burn. Motivation is that sudden rush of energy that makes you feel like you can conquer the world, but it's completely mood dependent. If you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, motivation usually disappears. Discipline is what kicks in when the mood is gone. It's the commitment to the action, regardless of the feeling. Basically, motivation gets you started, but discipline is what actually crosses the finish line.
How can we build discipline when we don't feel motivated?
The trick is to stop treating discipline like a muscle you're born with and start treating it like a habit you build. Start by making the right choice the easiest one. If you're trying to study, clear your desk the night before so there's zero friction, then focus on the win. I think we often forget that the brain needs a dopamine hit to stick with something. Celebrating those tiny, boring victories is what actually wires discipline into your routine.
Why should we celebrate small achievements?
Because our brains are actually wired to love the win, no matter the size. When you hit a tiny goal, your brain releases a little burst of dopamine, which is basically nature's way of saying, do that again. If you only celebrate the giant end of the road victory, you're starving yourself of that fuel for months. Celebrating small wins turns a daunting mountain into a series of manageable hills.
How can remembering past success give us motivation?
It's like having a own personal proof of concept. When you're in the middle of a tough time, your brain starts lying to you, telling you that you've always struggled or that you're not capable. Remembering a past win is the fastest way to shut that noise down because it's hard evidence that you've already figured it out once before. It proves the current struggle is just a temporary state, not a permanent identity.
Thank you so much, Maya, to be with us for this conversation. See you again on the same channel with another topic. Till that time, Allah Hafiz.
You're so welcome. I had a blast. Until next time, Allah Hafiz.